Please welcome Thomas Friedman.
Thank you very much, and congratulations to the class of 2009. I'm honored to be here. I was speaking to Dean Smith on the way in, and she said that you had a baccalaureate meeting yesterday, and one of the students was making the point to her that I know I learned something here that's going to be really important in the job market. I just don't quite know what it is. And what I'd like to speak about this morning is what I think it is. I'm going to give a practical speech this morning. It's really two speeches. It's about the America you're going into and why the liberal arts education you got here, I think, is really relevant. I hope they'll come together as one speech. Every time I try to do this, I'm reminded of a story when they were digging the tunnel under the English Channel to connect Great Britain and Europe. They put it out to bid. They got bids of $1 billion, $1.2 billion, $1.3 billion. They got one bid for 100,000 pounds from the firm of Goldberg and Cohen in the North End of London. And for fiduciary reasons, they had to check out the bid. They sent a team out there, rang on the door. Cohen answered. Goldberg was on the road. They said, Mr. Cohen, how can you possibly dig a tunnel under the English Channel for 100,000 pounds? He said, what's the problem? Cohen will start on one side. Goldberg will start on the other. We'll each have a shovel. We'll dig until we meet. Well, what if you don't meet? So you'll have two tunnels. So you may have one commencement speech. You may have two. I hope they'll come together. Let me start by sharing with you a picture I saw just the other day. My wife is a senior board member of the Seed School in Washington, D.C. It's a charter college prep boarding school that aspires to help African Americans from Washington's most depressed neighborhoods get the education they need to enter four-year colleges. It's a wonderful institution. And the other day, President Barack Obama and First Lady Michelle Obama paid a visit to the school and met with the students. Several days later, I got to see the pictures that were taken of the First Lady and the President's visit. And there was one that just stuck in my mind. It was a picture taken of Michelle Obama from the back. She was going down a receiving line of young girls at the Seed School, probably seventh graders. And all you see in this picture is the First Lady's back and two little black arms wrapped around her waist, hugging her tight. It was one of the Seed girls who obviously did this spontaneously. When I saw that picture, I thought to myself, how amazing it must be for a young African-American girl to have a role model today as First Lady like Michelle Obama, graduate of Princeton and Harvard Law School. Who can know what such a role model will inspire in so many others her age? But those two little arms hugging the First Lady around the waist told me it's a lot more than I'll ever know. I tell you this story, class of 2009, because you are entitled to be upset and frustrated that your graduation happens to coincide with the greatest economic downturn in America since the Great Depression. And you are equally entitled to say to yourselves, what a lousy time to be walking out these doors with a liberal arts education. Yes, it is a lousy economic time, but it is an amazing political time. It is one of those rare moments when America reminds itself in the world how crazy radical we can be sometimes. Radical enough to take a chance on an inspiring young African-American junior senator from Illinois and his wife to lead us out of this economic mess we're in. That tells me, and I hope it tells you, that our country still has the ability to change course, to start afresh, to begin anew. And what I would like to do here this morning is make the case for why that America, the one capable of infinite renewal and reinvention, is the one you should think of yourselves as entering. Because in that America, there are some big jobs ready and waiting for you, or at least for your generation. Yes, your country needs you now. Help wanted. You see, my parents' generation, your grandparents' generation, were the greatest generation. They earned that title because they built a world of freedom for us abroad by defeating the Nazis and winning the Cold War, and because they also helped to build a world of more freedom at home, thanks to the Civil Rights Movement. My generation, the baby boomers, well, we've been the grasshopper generation. eating through just about everything like hungry locusts. Oh, we've had our moments to be proud of, but I'm afraid that we took many of those freedoms that our parents sacrificed to create for us, and we used them to go to excess. The subprime mortgage mess is, alas, a monument to that all. But that is why we need you, the class of 2009, to be the regeneration. Yes, we need to go from the greatest generation to the grasshopper generation to the regeneration. That is your job, with our help, of course, to regenerate, renew, and refresh America. And you may not believe it, but the liberal arts education you received here has prepared you for this task in more ways than you might think. Let me explain. We got into this financial mess because we got disconnected from some of the most fundamental values that made us a wealthy country. We got disconnected from the basic connection between hard work, delayed gratification, achievement, and success in life. I blame many things for that, but most of all, I actually blame the end of the Cold War. One thing that made our parents' generation the greatest generation is that they had to stay very focused to win World War II and face down the Soviets. Those were hard enemies, people you had to be serious about, and the consequences of failure were devastating. I would argue that the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, which meant the collapse of our biggest strategic competitor, made us sloppy and lazy. We took on an attitude of dumb as we want to be. Dumb as we want to be, and we'll get to it when we get to it. Hey, what's the rush? Social security reform, health care, energy policy, environment, or immigration, we'll get to it when we get to it. Indulging the moment became job one. Over-consuming, overbuilding, overborrowing, overlending, and overeating all became the new normal during our post-Cold War America. Kurt Anderson described it best in a recent Time magazine essay on the age of excess. Starting in the 1980s, he said, "It was as if we decided that Mardi Gras and Christmas are so much fun, we ought to make them year-round ways of life." And we started living large, literally as well as figuratively. From the beginning to the end of the long boom, the size of the average new house in America increased by half. Meanwhile, the average American gained about a pound a year, so that an adult of a given age is now at least 20 pounds heavier than someone the same age back then. In the late 70s, 15% of Americans were obese. Now a third are. Delayed gratification, said Kurt, came to seem quaint and unnecessary.